Eat the wake of 50 boats going past you. You just got to let them go.
So we all take off, man, and I run my 40 miles. Some people run all the way to Louisiana, all this stuff. And you were entered in 2 tournaments that day, and you end up winning money in both of them. And all we know is Clint just said, "All right, everybody take off. This ain't no boat race. I'll kick your ass right here like this." And you did. Hey, enjoy this compressed webinar from angleru.com. If you don't know what angleru.com is, it is the platform where myself, Capt Clint TV, and many other guides from up and down the coast are publishing our content. We have monthly subscriptions, we have yearly subscriptions, we have Android and iPhone apps. If you're a member of Angler U, you also get discounts at places like Waterloo Pro Shops, Laguna Rods, Anglers Anonymous, Fish and Tackle Unlimited, Hook, Line, and Sinker, and we are working to get more vendors in your area. It doesn't matter where you're at, we are working to get somebody there. But again, this is these 10, 15 minutes. They usually run an hour or more. If you're a member, you have access to ask direct questions to the pros that we have on. Enjoy this one. We'll catch you on the next one. Whenever our game isn't working, we struggle. Clint has the ability to think outside of the box and make stuff work in a way that it takes a extremely seasoned veteran fisherman to do. And the story I'm going to tell, Clint, is the PRL Championship, the year that you and I both of our teams qualified for the World Series. We were launching out of topwaters, and y'all drew what, like boat 1 or something, boat 2, and everybody said go. And Clint was like, "All right, cool," and just pulled over and said, "All y'all pass me." And we all rolled out, and nobody knows what the hell you did.
But hey, when you got a boat that goes 20 miles an hour, you can't eat the wake of 50 boats going past you. You just got to let them go.
So we all take off, man, and I run my 40 miles. Some people run all the way to Louisiana, all this stuff. And you were entered in 2 tournaments that day, and you end up winning money in both of them. And all we know is Clint just said, "All right, everybody take off. This ain't no boat race. I'll kick your ass right here like this." And you did. And these are the things that make you a legend in my mind, Clint. It's something else. Is absolutely something else.
Well, I'll tell everybody this. It doesn't matter what boat ramp you're using. If you're a good shallow water fisherman and if you're a good deep water fisherman, you can win any tournament within 5 miles of the boat ramp. And it doesn't matter which boat ramp it is. But we as anglers want to also enjoy our day of fishing. Like if you're a shallow water guy, you want to run someplace where you can fish shallow and do what you like to do. If you're a deep water guy, you want to run someplace and fish deep. And again, I always go back to, so much of my life was fishing out of a kayak and following all these shallow water guys. And then so much of my life was fishing out of a boat and following all these deep water guys and trying to have systems for both that, when I'm in my boat, I'm in a little 17-foot Explorer Tunnel V that goes 20-something miles an hour. I can't make a long ride. So I always do the exact same pattern. I'll always try to start catching them shallow because shallow is where you find a couple fish real easy. And then I'll always transition to deep because deep's where you're going to find big, heavy winning fish. And you just, I would tell anybody who's watching this, if you're a shallow water guy, you should spend 20-25 investing in yourself to fish deep. And if you're a deep water guy, you should spend 20-25 investing in yourself fishing shallow. And if you can do both of those things, look, I fish with a lot of guys. Most guys can cast farther than I can. Most people have nicer gear than I can. I feel like when we get to this level, we're all on the same level. It's just really taking the time to be able to do it all instead of just being really good at what you like to do.
Yeah, I'm going to spend 20-25 riding with you. All right, let's I see all y'all questions. We're going to Parkoff said, "Clint speaking my language. He's fishing on a budget." Parkoff, you don't have a clue, dude. You don't understand. Clint, I just spent $4,000 on GPSs of my boats strictly because of the top tier side scanning. Out in deep water, not like rivers, canals, jetties and stuff. I want to be able to see every rock, every tree, everything. I'll lose too many half-ounce jig heads, Clint.
Hey, look, if you talk to Scott Knoll, ask him about my Academy bag tackle box, because for about 10 years, I just fished with the white Academy plastic bag that had like the 1 pack of plastics and the 1 jig head and the 1 top water,
It works. I own 3 total colors of plastics that I take with me. And most of my stuff's in a sandwich bag. I'll put a Ziploc bag in my pocket, and that's what I got. My tackle bag is where my bogas and stuff like that, pliers and stuff go. There's not a whole lot of lures in there. Okay. I think we can. I think we can answer this one pretty quick. Adam Weller says, with mullet jumping, are you keen on one big jump or multiple smaller jumps?
Man, it's really about what you nailed it. It's about what that jump entails.
Mhm.
You know. Now, if I see a bunch jumping in every different direction, I'll never forget when I was still new here. I went fishing with Jim West. And man, we pulled up and Jim West's first words goes, "Golly, look at this mullet." And at any given time, I could see about 100 mullet in the air, and they were just going in every direction. And we just hammered them. But that's not always the case. You know, what you're looking for, whether it's a big mullet or a small mullet, is that irregular jump, that irregular landing, you know, jumping up and spinning up in the air, you know, skitter across the top. I did another podcast with some of my buddies, and my buddy Chris, he goes, "Oh, that's just mullet doing mullet things." You know, and you got to figure out what's mullet doing mullet things and what's mullet saying, "Oh dear God, you know, get me out of here."
Get me out of here. Ray Schultz says, keep seeing arguments about it. What wind direction do y'all find most favorable, specifically in the Freeport, Matagorda area? What wind do you like?
I mean, dude, I've always been a fan of Northeast. I just love Northeast. You know, just Northeast always sets up for me to be able to both shallow water fish and deep water fish. You know, they usually comes at a time where fish are really responsive to it. But I guess wind direction really isn't so much as just consistency of wind. I usually don't start catching fish really good, whether it's deep or shallow, until we've had 3 to 5 days of the same wind direction. You know, this variable wind where it's one wind every single day, yeah, just throw a dart at a dartboard and go for it. But, you know, 3 to 5 days of consistent wind and you can put something together.
It's a loaded question for me. If I'm waiting for trout on like a normal November, December day, I like a Northeast. The reason I like it is it blows into the shorelines of a lot of the coves on the southeast side, on the south shoreline. And for whatever reason, when that northeast wind blows into those coves, those are my best days of wade fishing for, you know, upper slot, good trout. Turn it around whenever I want water to be pulling and I want to fish in front of drains and stuff. I like a northwest wind. I like that wind pulling out. And we're talking specifically about this time of year. I like that northwest wind pulling water out. If I am just going out for a day of fishing, then the prevailing wind, the southeast, you know, like Clint said, if it'll blow a couple of days in a row and just kind of level out the playing field of what all the different stuff is doing, then that's what I really prefer. So it's a multifaceted question.
Man, it's Texas, you know, like we have every wind every day, every season all comes in one day.
Seriously. Let's see. Mike S says Clint is a wizard. I wonder how many times I will listen to this.
I was waiting, I got one bite and I started to walk and I thought, man, what would Mark Holt be doing right now? Dude, that guy wouldn't move his feet. And I didn't move my feet. And about an hour later, I got a big one. And about an hour and a half later, I got a big one, you know, and that was like the total game changer. So, you know, having those people that are willing to share information and really taking and applying those gems that they gave you, like makes all the difference in the world. You know, that's why I was so happy to come on here, is because, man, if I can give back just one little drop of the 50 people who've given me gallons of information, you know, I'll never have done justice for how much they'd help me.
And that is absolutely spot on. The same for me. Donnie Maha just taught me so much about corkies, and I established my entire career on just knowing a little bit more about corkies than the average bear. You know, Redfishing, Robert Jones, Robert Rathkamp, Taylor Roth, Justin Lowry, Clint Barghi, like these guys all took me under their wing and said, you know what, we feel like you're all right. Let's go learn some stuff. And paying it forward is just, you know, it's a good thing to do. The number one lie I see on Facebook, and I'm gonna leave it at this and move on to the next question. The number one lie that I see on Facebook is I learned it all myself. No shot. No shot. You may be a dick and you don't have any friends that'll tell you anything, but you've read something in a magazine, you've watched something online. You're trying to learn all this by yourself. Boy, it's a long, rough road. Carol McGuire says, still never forget that day Jared and I had 70.5 pounds and Clint rolls in with minutes to spare with almost 19 pounds. I know that feeling. Gosh, I know that feeling.
Hey, we caught 2 fish all day. That's another story about being a deep water fisherman. Is for years people say, "Man, y'all must have killed him." I said, we had 3 fish, like 1 over and 2 slots. There's a big difference between fishing to catch fish and fishing to win money. It's
there's that. Austin Thomas says, and we have a bit of a grammatical error here, but it says, "Teach us your ways, sensei." That's what that says, Clint. Teach us your ways, sensei.
Dude, I don't know how to read. It doesn't matter.
The entire time you're giving credit where credit was due, I was deciphering that, amigo, because that's my job. That's what I do, Clint. I figure out what words are supposed to mean.
There you go.
Yeah, I too have fallen victim to Clint coming in and kicking our butt and being like, "Yeah, dude, we caught 3 fish all day, but these 2 right here are what we measured." Okay.
My favorite stop signs are have a proximity to deep water. Okay, they can be shallow, but they got to have a proximity to deep water, and that's 500 feet or less from 8 to 10 foot of water. And then I want them to be not close to anything else, because here's how I look at it. You're driving down a county road. You're going through all these bends. Every inch of that road looks the same. And then you come to a stop sign and you're forced to stop. Right. So like, I love some of these reefs that are like off the edge of Chocolate Bay. I like some of the reefs that are off of the old intercoastal. When we get to this Drum Bay, Christmas Bay area, that I like, that there's nothing for miles. It all just looks like desert. And you have that isolated reef, that isolated drop off, whatever, that's 10 yards by 10 yards. Anything that comes by that just has to stop and look at it. So little isolated pieces of stuff out in the middle of the desert is the best stuff. Shell is my favorite one. Drop offs are my second favorite one.
Well, maybe one day you can see all the comments popping up here, Clint. They're huge fans. Scott Knoll doesn't get this much love. I'm just going to throw that out there.
He gets love from me, so that's all he needs, right? You just need one.
Yeah. Hey, we'll get you back on one day, Clint. Delaney says, "Great episode, homies." Stookie says, "Great episode." I got a bunch of yeses for please come back. But we don't want to beat him up tonight, you guys. We're not going to do it. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to move on over to the old giveaway tool. And I got some music for y'all this time. Now, you know how it works. If you see your name, it's bad news. It's bad news if you see your name. Let's move in here. Let's hit that draw button. See who wins a turtle box. Who takes turtle box home, Clint? Oh, Smith said, "Gosh, dog it." Garrett Braun. You know how this works, guys. Send me a message on Angler U on Captain Kev TV, however you want to do it. Welcome. Congratulations so much as a kick-ass speaker. You're going to love it. Mike Jones says, "I'd love to hear more. Please come back." Clint, please come back. But we have ran over. Hey, your laptop made the show, though, amigo. It made the whole show.